Hey, what's up guys? It's Casey and I want to show you a foolproof way of testing iTracker360. So let's pretend that this is the site that I want to track and I put the tracking code on this site and now I just want to see is it working, right? So here's how you can test it. So I'm going to take this domain, I'm going to paste it into Notepad right here, and I'm going to create just like a sample tracking URL with some UTM parameters. So I'm just going to put like test. So that's what I want to get back, as far as in my tracking data. So here's what we can do. Let's open an incognito window. Now when you open an incognito window, what that means is that there's no cookies, there's no hosted app data, there's nothing in this window. So it's as if like I've gone to this site for the very first time and I've never been here before. So let's inspect the page, and this is what I do. I open the JavaScript console, and what you can do is just run iTracker360.i, and this should return a response, and this will basically say this is the data that iTracker has in its cookie, and this is what I want to get back. Test, test, test. That's what I wanted. So that's all good. If you get an error, meaning like this returns some error or whatever, then that means the iTracker code is not on your page. Um, so so now that I verified that the cookie looks good, let's go and let's click a link. And now in this particular link, I set a UTM content parameter. So what I want to do is override the content and track that call to action link. So this is a blue call to action. So let's look at what the iTracker cookie has again. And we still have all of our test data. So it's all test, but now we have that blue call to action set in our content parameter. So that's good. Now let's go into like another link and check out a form. So here's a form, and if I inspect this form, if we recognize the form as an Infusionsoft form, then what we'll do is we'll inject some hidden fields that you can capture through the form submission. So as soon as you submit this form, these fields are set in the form, so we'll collect the lead source, and for these other fields, you have to add them to your Infusionsoft form. We don't instruct you to do that, but that's kind of a legacy way of doing it. But the new way is doing like an API sync method. So let's fill this out. Let's do like let's do API sync 1 at testing.com. Now simply by typing the email in, iTracker is going to basically collect that data, right? And so if you go to the network tab in your browser, you'll see a production API call. You'll see a bunch of data sent to iTracker, and that's the data that we're going to collect. If we log in over here into the API sync page and refresh this page, we've collected some data, but now we're basically waiting to pair this up with a contact record, right? So let's submit that form. So we're in this incognito window. Let's submit this form. So this contact record is going to get created in Infusionsoft, and which it just did. So this is the form success. And if we go back into the iTracker site on the API sync page, we can wait here until iTracker actually pairs it up with that new contact record. And once we do, you'll see the email address, and then we'll push that data into the contact record. So that's kind of how you can test iTracker. You can use the JavaScript console to see what the cookie has. You can open an incognito window to verify that there's no cookies or hosted app data or anything like that. And you can look at the network inspector to see what data is kind of going across the wire in terms of what's getting collected. You can look in the API sync page to see what we actually collected after it hit our system. And then once it makes it into Infusionsoft, of course, you can log into Infusionsoft and see what data is actually in the contact record. So that's how I test iTracker. Some of the most common mistakes is just the iTracker code is not on the page, or your form is being rendered inside an iframe, and that iframe doesn't have our code inside that iframe. So So those are two of the most common mistakes. But if you run into something else, just reach out to me, let me know, and I can definitely walk you through or help take a look at it and figure it out.